Good afternoon. Please be seated. Thank you. My name is Paul Hoffman. I'm the Assistant Vice President for International Affairs at California State University, Fresno. And it's my distinct pleasure to be here today to join you in honoring our Fresno State international students who earlier today were conferred with a Fresno State bachelor's or master's degree by President Joseph Castro. They are among more than 5,600 Fresno State degree recipients this academic year. Today's commencement celebration is an opportunity to individually recognize all of our international students in the presence of family, friends, mentors, and the campus community. For family members who could not attend and participate in today's activity, the special event is being streamed live on the internet to a worldwide audience. I would like to extend a special thank you to the Fresno State Parents Association for its generous support, and to the staff of the International Student Services and Programs Office for their efforts in making the logistical arrangements which made the streaming of today's event a possibility. The Fresno State International student population is growing very quickly, and it enriches the great diversity of not only our campus, but also the Central Valley of California. This past spring, more than 670 international students representing 60 different countries were enrolled in Fresno State academic programs. International students are important to the campus community in many ways. The interaction and sharing between domestic and international students, faculty and staff, create a climate of positive exchanges and experiences from which we all learn. These interactions, intertwined within their academic departments, research projects, and a wide range of extracurricular activities, contribute to the rich diversity embraced at Fresno State and to the collective development of us all as individuals. These interactions have also resulted in the development of many lifelong relationships that extend across the globe. Today, we join family and friends in celebrating your achievement. Guests, your sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, and friends have contributed to many Fresno State memories that our graduates leave with today. And graduates, each of you have contributed to the Fresno State community by sharing your global perspectives with peers, faculty, staff, and residents of the Central Valley. I express a genuine thank you to the graduate support groups. You have contributed to their successes in more ways than can be expressed, and it is equally as important that we recognize you today. We recognize families. You made the decision to send your young adults on the long journey to the United States and entrust them to the care of Fresno State. Friends here and abroad, you have lent support along the way, and for some, every inch of the way through laughter and tears. The local community's International Fellowship Program, and the Islamic Cultural Center, always welcoming our international students and contributing to making Fresno State their home away from home. Faculty, mentors, and staff, they have assisted, encouraged, and guided these graduates while learning from them as well. And of course, we have the International Student Services and Program staff. These dedicated individuals were there at the beginning, they were there along the way, and of course, they are here today to share this special day with you. The ISSP staff are among those who are very proud of your accomplishments. Today's celebration includes an opportunity for several individuals to express their sincere congratulations and thoughts at this point. Today, we will hear from university leaders who will honor your accomplishments and welcome you to the Fresno State family of alumni. 3 graduating students will draw on their own experiences to speak on behalf of all international graduates. At this time, we had hoped to hear from President Castro. However, President Castro could not be here today, and at this time, I would like to invite Interim Provost Dr. Andrew Hoff to come and give Dr. Castro's remarks for him.
Good afternoon. It is a great pleasure to join all of you here and around the world for the International Students Commencement Celebration. We are all grateful for what you have added to Fresno State and appreciate that international students provide great benefits to the entire campus community. You have learned from us, and we have learned to appreciate and accept differences, opening opportunities to build bridges of understanding and collaboration that will help people around the world. Some of you will stay and contribute to the success of the U.S. Others of you will return home with training and perspective to be successful there. My hope is that our country's leaders will reform immigration laws to give greater flexibility to future international students who want to stay here after graduating from Fresno State. Your time here has been enhanced by accomplished and caring faculty and staff, and by connections with our diverse local community, and by support of your friends and family. Please join me in a round of applause for everyone who has contributed to your Fresno State experience. Today is about what each graduate has accomplished and about how your time here has prepared you to take the next steps in your journey. You will face challenges, and I am confident that Fresno State has left you well-equipped to overcome them and to be successful parents, professionals, and leaders. I hope that you will stay connected to Fresno State as alumni, contributors, Bulldog fans, and advocates for future students following you to our campus. It is my privilege to congratulate you, knowing that you will achieve great things in the future. Congratulations. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Provost Designate, Dr. Lynette Zalesny.
Welcome and good afternoon to all of you, graduates, family, and friends. Congratulations on becoming members of Fresno State's graduating class of 2014. You have achieved a remarkable and important goal. A university degree is highly valued around the world, and the friends you have made during your studies have become your global colleagues in the future. You made a conscious effort and decision to be a leader, to travel to Fresno State to earn your degree. I know your academic accomplishments will enhance your future and the future of those around you. Your choice always means a great deal to your family, your community, and to your country. I can tell you from personal experience that at this time, you do not know what impact you may produce in the future across all relationships you will have with others in the future. I would suggest that you be open to these opportunities when they come along. You have been supported by many, many people in completing your degree, members of your family, friends, faculty, agencies, and organizations in your home country or here in the United States. They've all formed a global village to make today possible for you. Your graduation is the result of their support and your very hard work. It is a proud day for all of us. And who should you be? I would suggest that it is your mission to be part of everyone around you. Add something of value to each person you meet. Share most generously with those who you care about and take a stand for honesty, integrity, and fairness. Think boldly and live boldly. you can change the world. Congratulations, graduates, and best wishes to a future success.
Thank you, Drs. Hoff and Zalesny. Each year at the International Commencement Ceremony, California State University, Fresno recognizes a group of international students who have been nominated by faculty and staff for the Distinguished International Student Award. At this time, I would like to present to you the nominees for this award. A faculty committee selects one nominated undergraduate as the Distinguished International Undergraduate Student and one of the nominated graduate students as the Distinguished International Graduate Student. For the 2013-2014 academic year, 2 undergraduate students and 8 graduate students were nominated for this special recognition. Their names are highlighted in boldface in your program. Students, as your name is read, I invite you to stand at your chair while I introduce you and share some of your accomplishments. When I have finished sharing your accomplishments, I would ask that you approach the podium to be presented with a token of recognition of your nomination. I begin with the 2 undergraduate students. Miss Arti Sundarajan. Arti is from India and earned a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science. Arti was a participant in the joint 3+1 program offered by Fresno State and the Vigilankar School of Information Technology in Mumbai. She completed her studies at Fresno State with a cumulative GPA of 3.89. This past semester, Arti assisted the Department of Computer Science in an initiative to enhance international student recruitment and retention, particularly at the graduate level. In her 2 semesters in residence at Fresno State, Arti has established herself as a model student. Next, we have Miss Bree Farley. Bree is from Australia and earned a Bachelor of Arts in Kinesiology. Bree maintained a 3.66 cumulative GPA while being a 4-year member of the highly successful Fresno State women's basketball team. Her academic performance in the kinesiology department was impressive. According to her faculty nominator, her work was always thorough, thoughtful, and grounded in strong scientific background, and her work ranks among the top 5% of all kinesiology students I have taught. Bree displayed leadership skills and excellence both in the classroom and on the court. On the basketball court, her strong work ethic, sportsmanship, and skills helped the team achieve Mountain West Conference regular season and tournament championships for all 4 years she was here. Ms. Bree Farley. Now I would like to introduce to you our 8 graduate nominees. Ms. Jia Peng. Jia is from the People's Republic of China and earned a Master's of Arts in Educational Leadership and Administration. Jia has maintained a 3.76 cumulative GPA. In her 2 years at Fresno State, she has established herself as an ambassador for both domestic and international students. She served as vice president of the campus's Chinese Student and Scholar Association and organized events designed to help integrate students into the broader campus community and build upon diversity awareness. Jia also assisted with the annual Study Abroad Fair, presenting about opportunities to study in China. And last January, she volunteered at the International Student Orientation. Additionally, she has assisted in educational leadership and administration departments' efforts to organize recruitment and student outreach activities in her home country. She possesses a positive attitude, is passionate about international education, and serves as an ambassador for Fresno State. Ms. Jia Peng. Next, we have Ms. Sue Kyung Lim. Sue is from South Korea and earned a master's in business administration. She maintained a 3.91 cumulative GPA in one of Fresno State's most rigorous academic programs. Her nominator emphasized her positive demeanor and cited the benefits this brought to her fellow students when collaborating on group projects. In short, Ms. Lim demonstrated herself as a leader. During her 2 years at Fresno State, she not only completed all MBA degree requirements, but also earned enough units to sit for the CPA exam. Outside of the classroom, she was employed as a teaching assistant. I am pleased to share that Sue has recently accepted a position with Price Waterhouse in San Jose, one of the prestigious Big Four accounting firms. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Sue Kyung Lim. Next, we have Malika Sani. Malika is from India and earned a Master's of Science in Biology. She achieved a 3.85 cumulative GPA, and the faculty viewed Malika as an exceptional student who ranked among the best academically. Her graduate project, where she discovered intriguing metabolomics results on breast cancer research, was impressive, and she presented research work at numerous regional meetings, including the Central California Research Symposium. Recently, the American Association of Cancer Research accepted her abstract for presentation at the largest cancer research meeting in the world. She was employed at campus functional She's been employed at the campus's functional genetics and proteomics facility, where she had been involved with numerous research projects. Malika has been a cherished asset to the biology department. Ladies and gentlemen, Malika Sani. Next, we have Mr. Pranil Shantraj. Praneel is also from India and earned a Master's of Arts in Special Education. Praneel achieved a 3.95 cumulative GPA. This is Praneel's second master's degree. He obtained an MBA. He obtained an MBA from the University of Tennessee, but his passion for teaching led him to Fresno State. His career aspiration is to open doors for students with disabilities by helping them become more independent through the development of social, communication, and decision-making skills. As part of his master's experience, he developed a handbook for use by school professionals, parents, and students to help students with disabilities find jobs. He is the recipient of numerous teaching awards and has contributed to internationalization by volunteering at many campus events, assisting in the recruitment of other international students, and being an exemplary representative of the university. Mr. Praneel Santridge. Next, we have Ms. Yong-Sol Jiang. Yong-Sol is from South Korea and earned a master's in science in criminology and victimology in the fall of 2013. Yong-Sol achieved a 3.92 cumulative GPA. She has had numerous achievements in her graduate career here at Fresno State, including her thesis research that was presented at the 2013 CSU Student Research Competition and the Western Society of Criminology, and is now working on publishing the findings of her research, which addresses the importance of face-to-face meetings between offenders and victims in an effort to reduce the rate of recidivism. In the community, she assisted on the Central Valley's Victim Offender Reconciliation Project and participated in the Community Justice Conference. In doing so, she has created a collaborative network between higher education, practitioners, and the legal system. A grant from the California Department of Safety and Justice has made it possible for Ms. Jiang to serve as a victim service outreach coordinator. In the future, she hopes to use her position to open doors for other Fresno State students. Ms. Jiang. Next, we have Ms. Jiayue Zhao. Jiayue is from the People's Republic of China and earned a Master's of Arts in Early Childhood Education. Jiayue received earned a 3.8 cumulative GPA. She has been an exemplary student and scholar in the field of her early childhood education. Jiayue has been active outside of the classroom as well. Her extracurricular activities include the International Students Fellowship Program, where she works closely with ISSP to welcome new international students. During her time at Fresno State, Jiayue worked at the campus's Early Education Center, where her skills in working with young children and her initiative drew praise from her nominator. Ms. Zhao's career goal is to work in California as a preschool teacher in an effort to positively impact those who will become our future leaders. Ms. Zhao. Next is Miss Parisa Hosseini. Parisa is from Iran and earned a Master's of Science in Education Rehabilitation Counseling. Parisa achieved a 3.83 cumulative GPA. She is viewed as one of the department's top graduates and is dedicated to changing the lives of persons in need of rehabilitation counseling services. In completing a 600-hour internship, she developed her counseling techniques and individual counseling styles by working with individuals who were in need of assistance in becoming more independent and employable. While at Fresno State, she has received numerous scholarships and awards, and her extracurricular activities include active participation in the Persian Studies Cultural Club, Target Adult Transition Program, the Fresno County Department of Social Services, where she served as a community representative, and many others. Parisa is a shining example of the great commitment Fresno State has to the local community. Ms. Hosseini. Next, we have Ms. Navreet Mahal. Navreet is from India and earned a Master's of Science in Plant Science and achieved a 3.72 cumulative GPA. Her thesis addressed a very timely environmental issue, optimizing nutrient and water use efficiency in agriculture. Navreet is already an accomplished young researcher. She has represented Fresno State with presentations at numerous regional and national conferences, including those hosted by the American Society of Agronomy and the Soil and Water Conservation Society. She was also an active volunteer for the International Center for Water Technology. Within the community, she volunteers as a group leader and grader for the Future Farmers of America contests, served as a judge at Fresno County's 4-H competitions, and at the local summer and farm festival. She is on her way to pursue a doctorate degree at Iowa State University this fall. Ms. Mahal. At this time, I would like to have Interim Provost Dr. Hoff join me in presenting the Distinguished International Student Awards. The Distinguished International Undergraduate Student Award for 2013-2014 goes to Miss Bree Farley. The Distinguished International Graduate Student Award for 2013-2014 goes to Navreet Mahal. We extend our warmest congratulations to Bree and to Navreet. We are proud of all international students who are on the stage today and all international students at Fresno State. We know that you will be outstanding ambassadors for the university. Once again, congratulations and best wishes for the future. At this time, I would like to invite our two distinguished International Student Award winners to say a few words. They not only speak about their own experiences, but they speak on behalf of their peers, both those who joined them today and those who are unable to be with us. First, it is my pleasure to introduce our undergraduate speaker, Miss Bree Farley.
Thank you. When I first set foot on this campus, I was experiencing a lot of emotions. I was anxious, I was definitely nervous, but most of all, I felt isolated. That feeling of isolation really hit me the night before I arrived in Fresno, as I arrived just 10 hours before my very first class. When I arrived, I'd been travelling for 23 hours from my hometown in Australia. This included moving from the southern to northern hemisphere, changing time zones, and a big change in climate. Everyone had accents I'd only heard on TV and in movies. And everything seemed different. The cars were even driving on the wrong side of the road. I got very little sleep that first night as I was very nervous and jet-lagged. I certainly can remember thinking that I was in way over my head, and I remember thinking, what on earth am I doing here? I finally got a little sleep before my first class, which ironically was in this very building. I can remember thinking I was in the wrong class because on the board it said Music 74. I certainly didn't play an instrument and music definitely was not my major. I sat through the class anyway and went through 2 more classes that day. I was very glad when the class was over, as I was still worried that I'd made a mistake in coming to America, and I felt like it might be best if I just packed my bags and went back home. While the first few days were difficult, it didn't take me long to find my place at Fresno State and settle in. I consider I was very lucky being involved in basketball, which was a team game, as I developed friendships with my teammates and coaches. I also met some very friendly people in my classes and soon felt supported. Looking back, I was overwhelmed by how welcoming people were and by how my transition was made easier. Although I certainly did miss home, it didn't take me long to know that I made the right decision in coming here. One thing I do know about this experience at Fresno State is it definitely assisted me in growing as a student, as an athlete, but most as a person. Now that my 4 years are up and I'm about to leave this campus, I find it strange that I'm feeling some of the same emotions as I did on that very first day. I find that I'm anxious about what my future will hold as I assess my options. I'm nervous that I'll never again be able to find this such supportive community to be a part of, but I certainly do not feel isolated. I now realise that I've developed what I consider a second family here at Fresno, a family that support me and a family that I love. I believe that the whole Fresno experience has developed me into a strong, confident and independent person that will be able to succeed in whatever the future may hold. There are many people that I hold enormous respect for and that I would like to thank. I'd like to thank my professors who were patient with me given I missed so many classes due to my basketball commitments. Without their cooperation, I certainly wouldn't have been so successful in my studies. To the ISSP staff for always being a place I could go to when I needed help. To my friends who have influenced me so greatly. My coaching staff who have pushed me to my limits many times. To my teammates for showing me the fun times and also being there for me through the tough ones. And of course my parents for allowing me to live on the other side of the world and supporting me every step of the way. Now to my fellow graduates, I congratulate you all for having the courage to step out of your comfort zones by leaving your home country, family and friends. Today is a day we celebrate our hard work, but it is also very much a day for reflection. I ask that you reflect not only on how much you have grown as a person, but also reflect on the people that you have met and the people that have helped you along the way. Just appreciate how important these people have been to you while attending Fresno State. I trust that we have all had the time of our lives during our stay at Fresno State, and I hope that you have found the experiences as fulfilling and enlightening as I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Bree. Next, we will hear from Ms. Navreet Mahal, our Graduate Distinguished International Student Award winner.
President, deans, members of faculty, proud parents, close friends, and above all, graduates, good afternoon. I would like to share with you all my story. As a daughter of a farmer, I have been attached to agriculture since my childhood days. My interest in nature compelled me to join BS Agriculture at Punjab Agriculture University, Ludhiana. During my undergraduate program, I observed the environment was deteriorating every day, and it caused me to reflect that I should do something to improve and sustain our environment. After graduating with a bachelor's degree, I came to Fresno State to pursue a master's in plant science. I remember the day when I was being interviewed by Dr. Dave and Dr. Kessel for admission into the program, and at the end of the interview, Dr. Dave asked me some questions about cricket. While I was admitted to the program, I must now confess that at that time I had no knowledge about cricket. Unfortunately, this did not factor into their decision. As a graduate student, I remember writing long reports, abstracts, and papers and submitting them just in time to meet the deadline. Despite my procrastinating, I still managed to get good grades on those papers. While I would have preferred to complete some assignments earlier, I did learn to take small risks in life. I remember the long hours, spending weekends either collecting samples in the field or running thousands of samples in lab. Sometimes I began early in the morning around 4 or 5 a.m. so I could finish in time to see a movie with friends. When I came here, I was really shy and naive, always thinking about how could I fit into the system and learn new things. One thing which most of my fellow Indian students might know, we are from a country where students are seldom asked to give oral presentations in class. When I joined Fresno State in my first class, my professor asked me to tell something about myself. When I went in front of class, I turned 3 shades red and was standing there unable to say a single word. I was panicking and thinking, what should I do now? Today, I am really thankful to the plant science department faculty for always encouraging me to strive to do my best, and it is because of their encouragement and support that I have given 16 presentations at university and national and international conferences. Thank you, Dr. Day. Fresno State has given me the opportunity to work with such a diverse group of people. My advisors from Trinidad and Tobago and France, my colleagues from Iran, Mexico, Brazil, Japan, China, and Thailand, and the food and the culture. As a sample represents a whole set of population, so does this group of international students. We represent our countries and consistently endeavor to prove ourselves and do our best. I'm honored to share this day with my fellow international students. Once you have decided to become an international student, there is no way to go back. You are straddled between 2 countries, trapped between 2 cultures. It sounds melodramatic, I know, but I promise you it's true. It's hard to grasp just how much living in another country fundamentally alters you until you have tried it. But ask any international student how much they have changed since they have arrived. They all agree with me, the change is dramatic. I would like to pay my heartiest thanks to my family, my mom and my sister who came down from India, my advisors, Dr. Dave and Dr. Kessel, Plant Science Department faculty, Marlene, my co-workers, friends for their support throughout this journey. Without any one of you, I would not be where I am today. With this, I would like to congratulate the international graduates of 2014 and wish you all the very best in future. And for all my friends over there, as I move on to Iowa State to pursue my PhD, I just want to say that
I got my ticket for the long way round, the one with the prettiest of views. It's got mountains, it's got rivers, it's got sights to give you shivers, but it sure would be prettier with you. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my walk, you're gonna miss me by my talk. Oh, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, both Bree and Navreet. Thank you. We have an additional special recognition of a graduate student by Fresno State. The Division of Graduate Studies traditionally offers a special award to a high-achieving international graduate student at the commencement celebration. Please welcome the Interim Dean of the Division of Graduate Studies, Dr. Sandra Whitty, to award the 2013-14 Phyllis Watts Udy Memorial Award.
Thank you, Dr. Hoffman. The Phyllis Watt Udy Memorial Award was established in memory of a former dean of the Division of Graduate Studies, Phyllis Watts Udy. Dr. Watts Udy was a champion of international education, and she was deeply committed to the success of international students. This award is given to an outstanding international graduate student. This year's Udy Memorial Award winner is Ms. Young-Sol Zhang. Ms. Yang, you stay right. Ms. Yang is a highly accomplished graduate student who earned her master's in victimology and criminology in December of 2013. The findings of her thesis, Causes and Effects of Victim Participation in the Community Justice Conferencing Program in Fresno County, California, were presented at the California State University Research Competition. Young-Sol currently works as a victim service outreach coordinator at the Center for Peacemaking and Conflict Studies at Fresno Pacific University. Please join me in recognizing the 2013-14 Phyllis Watts Udy Memorial Award recipient, Ms. Young-Sol Zhang.
And I'd like to invite Young-Sol back to the podium. She rushed off, and she's going to address the audience.
Thank you. So, hello, everyone. It is a great pleasure. Oh, my manuscript just gone, sorry. Okay, it is a great honor and privilege to speak to you all at the International Commencement celebration. I would like to give special thanks to my loving husband, Jay, and professors Dr. Yoshiko Takahashi and Dr. John Dursich and Otis Reiter. And also, I'd like to thanks to the administrative staff from Division of International Studies and CMB members of Fresno Korean Presbyterian Church. and Dr. Kim, who is the leader of that group. So, and my sister Mia and my brother-in-law Eric, they're sitting behind there. I really want to thank to my mother and my father who's watching this in South Korea. 엄마, 아빠 정말 감사하고 정말 사랑합니다. So here we are on our graduation day to celebrate our academic achievements. I'm sure no one reached this point easily. And each one of us has unique stories to tell. Today, I'd like to share mine. I was born and raised in South Korea. I just came to the United States just to study English. When I came, language barrier and cultural difference taking toll on me. So I had to survive. And I was no longer the outgoing and party planning girl anymore. So I decided to dedicate my time and effort to study and improve my English. So I met a really nice friends whose name CNN and Fox News. And I also could travel all over the United States with my best friends who's really helped me a lot with my English. CSI Miami and CSI New York, and my favorite, Las Vegas. As my English improved, my confidence grew. I started to dream about pursuing an academic career in the United States. When I heard about criminology and victimology program at Fresno State, my desire to study these two majors just grew stronger. Above all, I felt very confident that I could reach my academic and professional career here at Fresno State. While at Fresno State, I took courses in victimology and victim services and advanced criminology. This field, pioneered by Fresno State, and moreover, I learned about criminal justice system and compared them. So I started to wonder if this system could actually bring true justice to people affected by the crime. So I researched on the ways to bring true justice and peace into them, of course with the guidance of Dr. Yoshiko Takashi and Dr. John Dushich. So I gained a lot of insight into the cause of victimization and effective ways to prevent them. As a result, I wrote several research papers and present them at academic conferences and research competitions as Fresno State delegate. Through the academic endeavor, not only did I successfully complete the thesis, but I also given opportunity to work for a victim service organization, and I got a grant to conduct research in Central Valley. So we have gathered here today to celebrate our academic achievements. And we all had to overcome the language barrier and cultural barriers. I know there will be many more challenges and obstacles that we have to overcome. I strongly encourage all of you, to strive to reach your goals also through continuous endeavor. I would like to leave you with a quote from the former President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. Yeah. So, when we tackle obstacles, we find hidden reserves of courage and resilience we did not know we had. And it is only when we are faced with a failure do we realize that this resource were always there within us. We only need to find them and move on with our lives. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Young Sol. Now it comes to the most exciting time of the program for me. It's time to recognize all of our graduating students. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone of a few logistical items. As each student's name is read, each graduate will cross the front of the stage. Please hold your applause until the reader has completed introducing the student. Guests, for your safety and the safety of others, please take photos from your seats. We have arranged for a photographer to take pictures of each graduate, and we will email those to each student. Your assistance is greatly appreciated. Graduates, are you ready? Yes. I didn't hear you. Are you ready? Yes. All the long hours in the classroom come to an end now. I invite our readers who will announce each graduate to come forward. Today's readers are Sandeep Roy and Kuni Chung. Sandeep is from India and is a graduate student pursuing a master's in business administration. Kuni is from China and is pursuing a MA program in higher education. I invite the graduates in the back row to please rise and proceed to the readers.
From China, earning a bachelor's in art and design, Jialei Chen.
From India, earning a bachelor's in food and nutrition sciences, Harpreet Kaur Brar.
From China, earning a bachelor's in food and nutrition science, Fei Ran Yu.
From India, earning a master's in computer science, Gautam Rajashekhar. From India, earning a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, Alekhya Bodke. From India, earning a master's in computer science, Arunachalam Krish Thappan.
From China, earning a master's in education, early childhood, Jialei Zhang.
From India, earning a Master's of Biotechnology, Martin Manasvi Bhumireddy. From India, earning a Master's in Chemistry, Sweta Satyanarayana Reddy. From Saudi Arabia, earning a Master's in Linguistics, Reham Al-Hamad.
From Philippines, earning a bachelor's in business administration accountancy, John Alicia Ng. From China, earning a bachelor's in public administration, Jintang Zhang.
From Indonesia, earning a Bachelor's in Business Administration, Finance, Gustin Hartanto.
From Malaysia, earning a bachelor's in business administration, marketing, Hu Yen Go. From China, earning a bachelor's in business administration, Jing Dong. From Malaysia, earning a bachelor's in mass communication and journalism, Karen Wang.
From Canada, earning a Bachelor's in Business Administration, Human Resource Management, Brittany Boona. From Canada, earning a Bachelor's in Mass Communication and Journalism, Public Relations, Bianca Rose Maglalang. From Peru, earning a Bachelor's in Business Administration, International Business, Leopoldo Villacorta Magina. From Ecuador, earning a Bachelor's in Business Administration, International Business, Jocelyn Soto Figueroa. From Ecuador, earning a Bachelor's in Theater Arts, Dance, Tamia Reese. From Ecuador, earning a Bachelor's in Physics, Maya Castro de la Torre. From India, earning a master's in computer science, Yogesh Bansal. From India, earning a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, Harpreet Singh Kalsi. From India, earning a master's in industrial technology, Mehtab Singh Kalo. From India, earning a master's in computer science, Paramveer Singh. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Darshan Manchikar. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Soumitra Kesarkar. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Hitesh Dhanwani. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Rohit Patil. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Ritesh Singh.
From China, earning a master's in business administration, Qian Song Yang. From China, earning a bachelor's in accounting, Lin Ru. From China, earning a bachelor's in plant science, Tian Tong Gu. From Taiwan, earning a master's in business administration, Chiang Ting Chen.
From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Vishal Sundareswaran. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Shurabhi Shaha. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Mohit Ashrit. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Aditya Saxena. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Vidhi Mahadik. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Deepika Sherigar. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Angad Anand. From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Raj Solanki.
From South Korea, earning a master's in criminology, Jang Yun-so.
From Australia, earning her bachelor's in kinesiology, personal fitness training, Bree Farley.
From China, earning a master's in education leadership and administration, Jia Pang.
From Iran, earning a master's in rehabilitational counseling, Farisa Hosseini. From India, earning an MA in special education, Pranil Shantraj.
From Korea, earning a master's in business administration, Song Kyun Lim.
From India, earning a bachelor's in computer science, Aarti Sundarajan. From India, earning a master's in biology, Mallika Kaur Sahni. From India, earning a master's in plant science, Navreet Mahal.
Thank you, Sandeep and Kuni. And congratulations to all of our graduates. Graduates, it is my hope that you will leave Fresno State with fond memories and make a positive difference in the world. The future is yours, and we wish you the best with your career choices and with life's adventures. At this time, I invite parents, family, and friends of our graduates to stand and be recognized. And graduates, I invite you to stand and recognize these wonderful individuals once again. Please be seated. In conclusion, I take this time to say thank you to our colleagues, numerous volunteers and community members who worked hard to make your time here rewarding and memorable. Scattered amongst our audience today are staff members of the Office of International Student Services and Programs who worked hard to put this event together. Please join me in thanking the ISSP staff for their support. Finally, I would like to say thank you to all the student volunteers that helped make this event so successful. Today's event would not have been possible without our volunteers. In a moment, I will ask faculty and ISSP staff to exit the concert hall and form a receiving line outside for our graduates. You can exit at the exit signs. A processional of graduates will follow up the center aisle. Graduates, at this time, I would request that you stand. Guests, I would request that you also stand and remain at your seats until our graduates have left the concert hall. Afterwards, guests will exit through the lower two side doors. Faculty and staff, please exit. And at this time, the graduates may stand and we will process. I ask the audience to please stand, remain at your seat until all graduates have left the auditorium. Thank you.